stream going. All right, so for those of you that were about to ask, is this being recorded? The answer is yes. It's going to be live streamed on YouTube any second now. And once it is live streamed, then the link will be available shortly thereafter. I don't know exactly how fast that happens, but it will be there shortly afterwards. And you'll be able to watch that as many times as you want. All right, well, it is 3 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and jump right in. And, um, oh, there we go. Can you see my screen? That was different too. Okay. Hey, guess I probably should have practiced. Well, everybody, welcome to our webinar, Getting Started, Tips and Tricks for Success with Book Creator. We're going to start off with some introductions. So, Catherine, why don't you kick it off? Let us know who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine Capiello. I'm one of the teacher success managers here at Book Creator. I'm located in Chicago. I've been with Book Creator for over 4.5 years now. It just is flying by. And I work with districts in the Central region and the West Coast region. And I show them really how to embed Book Creator into whatever they're already doing with in their classrooms and really into their curriculum. Really happy to be here today to show you how to get started with Book Creator.
All right. Thank you, Catherine. And Janet, how about you?
Hi, everyone. I'm Janet Burnett. I'm the southern part of Book Creator. I am located in the northwest corner of Alabama, as you can tell. And I have been in education for 26 years. Just retired at the end of last year before officially joining the Book Creator team, but I've used Book Creator in my own classroom and with teachers in my former district for about 10 years. So I always joke and say I talked about it like it was one of my kids. So when I had the opportunity to join the team, it was time. So I'm thrilled to be here. I do much of the same as John and Catherine do. I get to teach teachers how to put this into the lessons that they're already teaching and make everybody happy. So I'm thrilled to be here. So, John, I'll pass it to you.
All right. Yes, and I am John Smith, for real. I am a senior teacher success manager here at Book Creator. I've been doing this now for just over 6 years. So I'm the old dog in the group when it comes to teacher success. And I am responsible for all of the cold stuff in the United States. I get all of the northeastern section of the country and all of Canada. So all of the cold stuff, that is what I get. But it's great. I really do enjoy it as well, just like everybody else. I taught special ed for 12 years, and I was a tech integration specialist for 7 years. So 19 years in the classroom, working with my own students and working with students of other teachers, but now here at Book Creator, Senior Teacher Success. So really excited to be here today and jump in and show everybody everything there is to know about Book Creator. So real quick, we're going to talk about our agenda. So give you an introduction to Book Creator, talk about how to get started with Book Creator and by exploring a lot of its amazing features. And then we are going to share some amazing resources. And obviously, we're going to have some Q&A as we go along. And we do have a feedback survey at the very end that we're going to want you to take a quick scan of and make sure that you fill that out. But I will say too, though, that if you have questions as we go along, please put those into the chat window. We will do our best to answer those. So whoever's not speaking at the moment will be eyeballing the chat window, making sure that we get those questions answered. And if you did just pop in, don't forget, this is being live streamed on YouTube. So we will have it on our YouTube channel probably later today, or if not, early tomorrow morning, so that you can watch this as many times as you want. All right. So, Catherine, why don't you kick us off with this very first one here? Why are we here? What does this mean to us? You know, we're probably all stressed out as school is getting ready to start. So why do we care about something new? Why do we care about Book Creator?
Yes. So, it's start of a new school year. We want to really bring creativity and engagement into our classrooms. And that exactly is what Book Creator is. It's a content creation tool to really bring in creativity and content creation into your classroom. And the best part is it's for grade levels K all the way to 12th grade and also for all content areas. So you can really use it for all of your students and whatever grade level that you're, or whatever content area you're actually teaching. You can use it with your students and really bring that engagement piece into your classroom.
All right. And I always like to kind of add on there, Catherine, that I love the word engagement. I think a lot of times people think of the word fun when they hear the word
Yes.
engagement. And I think, engagement certainly can be fun, but engagement doesn't have to be fun. And from my experience, a lot of times when you hear the word fun, especially the older you get with your students, I mean, not you physically older you get, but your students, the older they get, when they hear engagement and they hear fun, they're just kind of like, why don't, do we have time for fun? Like we have all this work that has to be done, right? I don't have time for fun. I don't think the word engagement means fun, right? Like it means that you're invested in the process, right? That you really want to be there. You have a vested interest in what you're doing. And so, I mean, if you think about your own lives personally and professionally, I'm sure there's plenty of things that you have to do every day that are not fun and sometimes quite painful. But you're engaged in that process because you really want to see the outcome. And I think that one of the things that's mentioned on our page right there is that Book Creator, because it is simple, right? The tool just gets out of the way. So there's no opportunity for kids to, spend weeks trying to learn how to use Book Creator. They're just going to figure it out and it's going to get out of the way so that they can get engaged in that process of learning. So I really do like that very first one there. All right, Janet, Catherine touched on this a little bit, but every subject.
Yeah, absolutely. Of hundreds of tech tools that I know about, Book Creator's always been at the top because it is one of those things I've never found a lesson I couldn't use it in, right? And it doesn't matter if they are little, you're working with little people or you're working with big people. It works for them because of the elements that we have in our features. So, video, little people may not be developmentally ready to type everything, but they sure can talk. So if we can put that tool in their hands, then we have a way of peeking inside of their minds and giving every student a voice. And that is really something that we're proud of here at Book Creator is the fact that we do have the tools that allow every single person, regardless of their ability level or regardless of, what content or age group you're working with, everyone can participate in the lesson. And so Book Creator does add excitement to every single subject. And anytime you can use that multimedia, pulling it in, images, we're going to talk about all these things today. It really does let you power up your lessons that you're already teaching in your classroom. You don't have to start over again. It's just really giving it a little bit more bang for your buck.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Catherine and Janet are exactly the same in this respect. But I always pride myself on having a way that you can use Book Creator with everything. And to be honest, I'm undefeated. So if you think there's a way that you can't use Book Creator, throw that in the chat window and we'll see how we do. But I think we can probably take care of it. And like Janet just said, I love the idea of powering up like your current lessons, right? We're not asking you to reinvent the wheel every single time, but maybe just take a look at Book Creator and as a tool to introduce into a lesson that you've used. It's tried and true. You love this lesson because just the other day, my daughter comes home with this reading packet that they printed out in her class, and she hands it to me, and she's like, "I've got homework," right? And she's like, "Ugh," and I was like, "Okay." So I was like, "Well, why don't you go get a snack, go do something else for a few minutes." I take her work, I reconfigure it a little bit and put it into Book Creator. And she comes back and I was like, all right, let's do your homework. And she starts looking at it. She's like, wait, time out. Hold on. That worksheet that the teacher gave me, I wasn't able to add a video to it. And I'm like, but now you can, right? So, like, just tweaking it a little bit can really add that excitement. And as Janet already kind of mentioned a little bit, Book Creator is for every student. I don't care how old you are. I don't care your academic abilities. I don't care where you come from. None of that matters because everybody can use Book Creator. And it is super, super simple, super accessible, and super inclusive. So we are really excited that just anybody can use Book Creator. And for me personally, I've used it with kids as young as 3 and as old as 98 and everywhere in between. And I'm sure I could use it with people who are younger. I just didn't try yet. So anyway, I absolutely love Book Creator, and I think you will as well. Catherine, education's at the foundation of what we do.
Yes. Our founder created Book Creator for educators. So just know that when you're using Book Creator, it was made for you as an educator. So I think that's a really a strong thing to say about Book Creator, that is that this was made for educators.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, lost my cursor. There it is. Okay. Janet, kids love becoming creators.
Absolutely. If you don't believe that, just go over to TikTok or Instagram and you will find them all there asking for followers. And they are always loving to create, and even more, they like to put it in front of people. Those digital natives, they are figuring out that this is the way they communicate the best. So, if we can figure out a way to take a product like Book Creator and combine it with the content that we have to cover with our students, now you've got a win-win situation, because not only do you have their engagement, you're still able to push out that content in interesting ways, way more interesting than you and I, um, John and Catherine, when they said open up to page 64 and look at the picture there. That's how our lessons started. But now we might start off with a beautiful image from Pixabay or and lead a discussion with that. But we could also start off with a video that is a hook that's going to grab them before we ever even talk about content. So it's one of those things to where if we can engage them, they will naturally show what they know. And they love to be able to create, whether it's through drawing or whether it's through um, video or recording their voice. They have all kinds of options in Book Creator. And so we're going to show you some of those today.
All right, excellent. And yes, just dive in. I always say there's only two important buttons in Book Creator, and that's pretty much all you need to do. A lot of people ask me after training sessions, oh, that was amazing. How long does it take it to teach kids? And the answer is, about 45 minutes for teachers, about 7 minutes flat for students, right? Like we will get this figured out very quickly. And I'm a big fan, as I'm sure Catherine and Janet are as well, just letting kids push some buttons, right? Do it as a group, show them all the things, kind of help each other out, and then just let them loose. Let them loose for like 20 minutes. And they're gonna be creating some amazing stuff. And you probably won't even, you'll be like, wait, they did what? Like I'm still shocked at what kids can do in Book Creator. And so, Catherine, I know this picture right here just gets right to everybody's like feels right in their heart. So, what about's going on here?
Yeah, so this is a first grade classroom and they're using Book Creator. This is one of the classrooms that we visited, and you can see that student engagement is obviously going through the roof. We have a little boy here with his hands on his head. These two little girls, one's pointing at the screen, showcasing their book. One's giggling. What I love about this picture is that they're collaborating, and we want that aspect. In the classroom. And what's great about Book Creators, we have a collaboration feature, but they also can work on books together in the classroom. And it really, like just that quote says right there, it really pretty much sums up how that first grade classroom feels about Book Creator.
I love this picture. It makes me laugh every time because I just want to know what's going on in their heads, right? Like the one girl, I bet she's like, "Look what I made," and the other kid's like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing!" And the other girl's laughing because she's like, "I never would have made a page like that. Like, we got to fix it." But I love how they are collaborating. I think that's fantastic. And this quote I mean, for sure is hands down one of my favorites. Janet, what's going on in this one?
Yeah, I love this one too. This is a quote, and it says, if you took a bucket of Legos and put it in front of a group of kids, how many would be able to build? All of them. And Book Creator is exactly the same way, only it's not a bucket of things, it's one button full of things. And so that's another thing that I always tell teachers: you don't have to know everything about everything about everything about Book Creator before you can use it in your classroom. The only thing you need to do is just get your kids connected and then watch them go. They will teach you things because they don't care to push every button on here. And that's how they pass us in learning so fast, is because they do have that willingness just to jump in and try it. But again, I love that every student can access it and have the experience, and they have fun doing it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, now we got through all of that, and hopefully you're sitting there thinking, you know what? Yup, this is for me, right? Like I'm excited about this. So where do we start? All right. And the place to start is right there, and that is app.bookcreator.com. Now, I'm going to pull this up, and hopefully everybody can still see it. So give me a thumbs up, Janet. Catherine, can we see our screen here? Okay, perfect. I did see some people say that they maybe weren't sure if they could see the screen or not, but I think we're all good. This right here is our sign up page. Okay, so app.bookcreator.com. Now, before you get excited, because this is what happens, teachers get excited, they go to our website and they forget how to read. All right, the only thing they see on this page is that Google button. All right, so you got to be careful because when you go here, this is actually the student sign in. All right, so you don't want to click Google just yet. All right, you want to make sure that you click this button that says switch to teacher. All right, because you're all teachers. We want the blue screen. All right, so if you have the blue screen, go right ahead, smash the Google button, all you want. But if you're on that yellow screen, make sure that you go in here to the blue screen first. All right, so now it says teacher sign in. You're going to click sign in. You're going to sign in with the choice that you want to use. And then it's going to walk you through setting up your account. All right, and it's going to allow you to set up that free account. And once you do all of that and you get through all of the hoops that they have, you will be brought to a library screen that looks something like this. All right. And once you're there on this library screen, then you're going to be able to do things like creating a new book, inviting your students into your library so that they can make books. It is really awesome and really simple all at the same time. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit more about this later as well, but there's also these three black lines here at the top left, and those will take you to your teacher dashboard. And so if you're on the free version, you're just signing up and you're playing around with Book Creator, you get 40 books and you get one library. If you're on the full version, you get 1,000 books and you get unlimited libraries. So quite a difference between the two. But regardless, you can get in there and you can play around with Book Creator and you can have a lot of fun. All right. So app.bookcreator.com is where you're going to go to sign up and get started. And then we've got some cool stuff that we're about to talk about. So now we're going to start talking about how to actually begin and where to start. So Catherine, why don't you kick us off here with how we get started?
I just want to make sure real quick, can anyone see the screen? Because we have a few more people saying they can't see the screen.
Oh, yes, it's weird. I see it on YouTube though as well.
Okay,
So
yeah. I just want to make sure some people can see it.
yeah,
Uh,
I'm guessing.
you can
Okay,
see it?
Jane,
Okay,
Jane can
perfect.
see it. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Just making
Awesome.
sure.
Yep. I
Didn't
know
know
with
if it was just
multiple.
us three or something. Okay,
Yeah, I know
perfect.
with multiple screens, sometimes myself I get lost, right? And where I'm clicking. So sometimes it's not in the right spot.
Perfect.
All right,
All right.
Catherine.
Yes.
Three
So three
buttons.
buttons to begin. I always say there's three buttons to begin. Um, and the first one is that plus button at the top right-hand side. So if you click on that plus button at the top right-hand side, it means just that. You are going to add things to your page. We can add tools, we can add multimedia, and we can add apps. And we're going to go through those things in a second. Okay. So that's the plus button. Then to the right of the plus button, we have our inspector button, also known as, I've heard it called, the important button too. And that inspector button or important button means that you can change something about your page. So right here, we can change our background, okay? If I added something to my page, let's say I added text, I could change the font or the color. So I go back and forth between the plus button and I go to the inspector button to add and to change. So John was saying that you literally could teach a student in 7 minutes how to create within Book Creator. If you showed them those two buttons, they would be able to just dive in and start creating. Okay. Now I said three buttons. Just gonna hover over the third button. If I hover over that little play button right there, it's going to say read book. If we were to press that, it would take us into read mode. So we're just gonna hover over it, but that just takes you into a mode where you can read your book. Okay, so those are those three buttons. There is a fourth button. This is kind of an advanced button, but that is the one at the bottom right-hand corner. And that one right down there is where you can leave comments and feedback for your students. You can communicate with them and leave that feedback, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Okay.
All right.
But if we
Now,
click on, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say just real quick about the play button. I love the play button to read book because sometimes kids get busy making things inside of a book and they don't really think about what it looks like for other people. And I always say when you're writing stories, yes, you're writing them for yourself, but ultimately you're writing your stories for other people. And so
Mhm.
when you write stories for other people, you want to make sure that visually, content wise, you want to make sure everything is right. So you want to hit that play button so you can see what that book looks like in real time. And one of my favorite ways to really get kids to think about their learning is to click the play button and have the book read to them because there is nothing that will highlight your bad work better than a robot voice reading your page, right? So like if you got bad stuff in there, have the robot read it and you'll be like, okay, I know exactly what I need to fix. So anyway, I absolutely love the read button. I think it's fantastic. All right. So we are going to start showing you some of these amazing buttons. So who wants to start? Catherine, Janet? Who wants to pick their favorite?
Okay, I'll start because
All
I
right.
love images. Let's just start there. Okay.
Perfect.
So I think that images, as far as a teaching tool, is one of the most underutilized tools that teachers have. And I'll tell you why. I was a Title I reading teacher for years, and I found out that images are the most universal teaching tool we have because they don't have to read them. It doesn't matter what language they speak or what their ability level, they can pick up something and learn from that image. So, for example, if I'm teaching pollination and I put in bee on a flower, now you'll notice he's typing it in, but there's also that little microphone there at the end. So that is very important to know about as well, because if you're working with little people or those that have academic challenges and spelling is an issue, this allows them to keep moving, keeps production going on. But what you're going to see here is just by putting in a simple prompt, whatever you're teaching, there's going to be something to go along with it. And so then you're going to have these beautiful images that come from Pixabay, and you're going to be able to choose one of those and pop it on the page. Now, you as a teacher can now make that large on the page, put it on your front board, and you can have a whole discussion with your students about what do you notice in this picture before you ever again jump into content. This is a perfect hook because they're going to be able to examine and look really closely. And in those details, that all of that's going to come out in your content later. But another thing that I like to do there is to go in and kind of add to that a little bit. Maybe just put a writing prompt across the top and say, what do you notice? And then have the students go in and go to that plus button and record their voices, and everybody gets to have a comment on that. So you can do a class book and make it collaborative and just put as many images as there are students and get everybody's comments that way if you don't want to have a whole group discussion. So there's really so many ways that you can use this, and it works perfectly. We're hearing a lot about the science of reading. It goes right along with that by immersing them into that experience through the visual aids. That is a win-win, whether it is a multilingual student or whether it is just a fresh learner in your classroom. Images are so powerful.
Absolutely. And the other thing I think is really powerful about these images, and if you teach older students, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They're crystal clear. These are not the grainy thumbnails that your kids like to drag into presentations that look like garbage, right? These are really nice images. And again, they're not the images that came home on my daughter's worksheet the other day that were grainy and black and white and not real cool, right? So these are beautiful. Now, Jana, I'm going to jump right in here under tools. You did mention the record button, and so I absolutely love that. So we'll go ahead and talk about that one next. So very simple, you hit start recording, gives you the countdown. I notice a fuzzy bee on top of a yellow flower. And I hit stop and I use the recording. And now I have that audio button right there. And as Janet said, maybe we do this individually where every student has their own image and they have to explain what they're seeing. Or maybe we could do this as a group. I went in my daughter's kindergarten class a couple years ago and I had a bunch of writing prompts up on the board and we went through a book. And in some of the writing prompts, I just said, tell me what you want to put on the page. And we just had kids come up one at a time and we just recorded our voice. So very, very powerful right here. Now, Catherine, I think there's something new with the audio record button. Would you like to explain? I almost said what it was. Would you like to explain what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So you now can translate audio. So if you want, you can click on the inspector button, or you could right click it too and just hit translate. What happens first is it's going to generate a transcript in the language that you were speaking in. So generates that automatically. And this is great too if, let's say, in the classroom it has background noise or something like that. It can pick up anything, and you can just make sure that it's actually saying what do you want to actually translate. So that's exactly what we want. We don't need to edit that at all, and then we can translate it. And I believe it's 134 languages. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Perfect.
think so. I
That's what I've
think
been telling
Wallace,
everyone.
yeah,
So
Wallace is on our webinar. So Wallace,
okay.
if you know
Perfect.
that exact number, it's between 130 and 138, I think. But it's
Perfect.
a
Okay.
bunch of languages. All right.
So yeah. And then we have these AI voices, okay? So you can test those out, which ones, so we'll just select one of them and hit translate. And what I like to do with the translated one is you actually can change the color of these audio hotspots. So if you just like, remember, you go back and forth from the inspector and the plus button, and John's going to change the color. So now my students know that this colorful, the green one, is going to be translated in that specific language that needs to be translated with for the student. This is great for, let's say, like directions for the students if you need to for that translation, or if you needed it for, like, say, if you had a newsletter for parents and you needed it translated, so many different ways that you could use that in the classroom.
Absolutely. And see, I thought changing the color of the audio button just meant that I could make it look the same as like the background or something like that. But see, there's really great ways that you can use it. I absolutely love that. And the best part, hopefully my audio is turned on with the Zoom update. But when you click the audio button,
Noté una abeja peluda encima de una flor amarilla.
all right, it's not the awful robot voice, right? It is a nice, smooth, fluid voice that really adds to that. So I absolutely love the audio record button. All right, plus button. We're back under tools again. Catherine, you want to talk about the camera, or you want me to take camera?
Um, you can take camera since you're taking a picture.
I love the camera. All right. I love the camera one. And this is definitely one of my favorites. All right. Now, Janet said that, images are probably underutilized. I think it's kind of a toss up between images and our own videos. Okay. And I love the video because it allows the kids to record right here on the screen. So, hey, Mr. Smith, today in class, we were talking about angles, and I could care less until I got home and realized there's a 90-degree angle right there between the ceiling and the wall. All right. And so what I love about that is that the kids can take whatever they learned in school and they can go find it in the real world, right? And when they find it in the real world, they're now making those connections. And depending on how big the video is and how much your internet wants to fight with you on a Thursday afternoon, it may take a second for that video to get there. But once it's there, you can move it around, you can resize it, you can use that video for all kinds of things, like the hooks, like explaining things. Maybe you're interviewing somebody. Maybe you're recording an entire science experiment and putting that into the book so that kids don't forget what happened during the experiment 2 weeks from now, right? They can go back and they can watch the whole experiment. So I absolutely love this. Now, excuse me, if you click the inspector, there are a couple of other options there. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to dive into all of these, but I do want to mention them. You can add captions to your videos, which is awesome, because the research out there says that if you have kids who struggle with reading and you're watching videos anyway, put on the captions and it's going to help improve their reading proficiency. So why not, right? Like even if that's 1% true, then it's worth a shot. All right. So I love adding captions, but in the same vein as adding a transcript or a translation for an audio button, you can also add translations for your captions. All right, which is very, very powerful. So I absolutely love the video option. If you have a video somewhere else and you recorded it and saved it to your computer somewhere, you can also bring those in. So you don't have to just make videos right on the fly within Book Creator. All right.
John, one more thing about that is students will almost always say more than they will ever take the time to write. So that's another powerful element of that, whether it is a fluency station that you're using every week in your classroom or just a quick exit ticket. So I love the power of video as well. I think that that is another thing that, again, they feel comfortable with, but also it's an accountability piece. You know, it's not like a multiple choice question where they can guess. If they have to record themselves, it's like a blank page. So they can't fake it. But
Yeah.
you, as the expert, are going to be able to hear their vocabulary. You're going to be able to hear their extent and the depth of the knowledge they've picked up during your discussion. So a lot of powerful things in that video.
And I would also take it a step further too. With my students, a lot of times starting with writing was always going to be a fail point, right, for me, because the kids didn't want to write, they didn't, physically couldn't write or something. So a lot of times when we did writing, we started with video. I said, here's your video. Do the brain dump. Put everything into this video that you know about this topic. Then we'll go back and you can watch that video as many times as you want. And while you're listening to the video, you go back in and you start typing in or you start writing in the things that you want to talk about. And I'm guessing that when you're doing that, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to say something about this while I was speaking. I'm going to add it in now. Right. So I love going from video to writing instead of starting with the writing. So I think that's another aspect of it. All right, Catherine, the pen tool.
The pen tool, one of my favorites. So first thing with the pen tool, we have different options as you can see here. We have a pen, a paintbrush, a crayon, a highlighter, which is great for like annotations. And then we have an auto draw pen. So we have this Google AI pen. But if you go back, let's talk about colors real quick. If you go back, we have all these different colors, and my favorite is going to be magic ink. Everyone loves magic ink, doesn't matter what grade you're in or how old you are. I love, yes, the rainbow glitter pen. So we have to use that one.
I was gonna say, all you gotta say is glitter, and the kids are in, right?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
into when you say glitter as well.
Yeah.
So, and then we can go back to let's show them the auto pen. Yes, let's show
And
them
you
the
what?
AI
Let me
pen.
do it in glitter since you said glitter. All right,
Yes,
there
we
we
have to
go.
do it in glitter. And how about we draw a bike? Okay,
right.
so it's gonna say start drawing up on the top, and it's going to guess what you're trying to draw. So imagine your students that say, hey, you know what? We're gonna draw our own pictures today in Book Creator. And you've already lost a few that say, I can't draw. Well, guess what? You get to use Google Auto Draw instead. Or maybe you're teaching them about AI, and they're the little ones. This is a great way to just open those doors and show them what AI is as well. And that's all right within Book Creator.
Yeah. And it's right here at the top. It gives you some choices, right? Nope, that is not a basketball. That is not a pair of glasses, unless I got hit in the face with a basketball. But it is a bike, right? And I choose the bike that I want. Maybe it's this one here, and it actually makes it look like a bike. And then, of course, you can hit the fill bucket. You can start filling in, oops, I hit the eraser. Start filling in your magical bike that looks like a Book Creator logo on wheels, right? This is super cool. But I love it too. And Catherine mentioned it already, but like when you are drawing, the more detail you put, the better. And I know a lot of times kids might start a drawing on paper and they're like, ugh, this is awful. And they kind of give up. But on here, as you're drawing, you're like, oh, that's actually pretty close. So if I put another handle on this handlebar, maybe it'll be even closer. So I absolutely love, this idea of almost iterating, right, your own drawing so that it gets you an option that you really like. So very cool. All right, tools, text. I'll take this one. I love this one because we've been talking for like what, 25, 30 minutes already, and we haven't even said anything about words. It is a book, right? You're probably going to want to put some words in there at some point. And so there's our text box, and you can type text in there. You can copy and paste text in there if you want. And my personal favorite, you can use the microphone. My students who struggled love the microphone, and they actually called it writing with your face, which I thought was fantastic. And you can write with your face in a bunch of different languages. So you just choose the language that you want to speak. I barely speak English well, so I'll just stick with English. I'm not going to try a different language. But if you chose Spanish and you started speaking Spanish, then all the Spanish text shows up right there in the box, which is really cool. So here's how it works. Click the microphone and start speaking in the language that you chose from the dropdown. And that is it. What I love about that is it understands me. Siri, when I talk to her, she thinks I have a mouthful of marshmallows. Book Creator just gets it, right? Which is absolutely amazing. And then from here, I can click done. There's my text. Doesn't look too impressive. So from here, I'm going to click that inspector or the improvement button or the important button, whatever you want to call it. And then I can change things like sizes, colors, fonts, backgrounds, all of that good stuff. And for those of you with a very keen eye, you probably noticed one of our new features, again, right there inside, and that is the ability to I got so excited I stumbled over my own face. The ability to translate your text again in one of those 130 some odd languages, right, that we have supported. So very, very cool. I love the text button. All right, plus button. We talked about the record feature, which we absolutely love. So now we get to move on to our new category, which is media. And this used to say shapes. All right. So for those of you that have used Book Creator before, I see a few of your names in the chat window. It is different. All right. And so now it says media, and under the media category is a whole pile of goodies. All right. And so I'm gonna call an audible on this one, and I'm gonna say, let's talk about this one from the bottom up. All right. And you'll see why in just a second. All right. And I'm gonna start with the first two. All right. So embed, what does that mean? Files, what does that mean? It means basically anything with an embed code or anything that's on your computer, you can bring right into Book Creator. All right, I saw somebody in the chat window already said they love taking PDFs and turning them into books. Fantastic, right? You can do that. You can bring your PDFs in, you can bring your files in, your audio, your video, you can do that, and you can embed content from pretty much anywhere that has an embed code. You can bring that into Book Creator. So it's like the ultimate app smashing tool, right? So I love bringing in all these different things. All right, icons. Who wants to talk about icons?
I'll talk
take
about
that.
icons. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead,
All
Janet.
right.
Go ahead, Catherine. I'll wait.
Are you sure? Okay. So icons, this used to be, if you used Book Creator before, it had the little the search feature at the top, but now we've moved icons. This is our noun project integration. We've moved icons down. So you'll notice we have all these different icons that you can, it still has a little search feature. It also has that little microphone, so you can do speech to text as well. I love these icons for visuals for students, for vocabulary even as well. They're also great for presentations. But yes, if you wanted to add a tree to your book, let's say you had a science notebook, and your term was innovate. Let's say you were searching for innovate. You have all of these different visuals for students that you can add into their vocabulary notebook, and you have a visual for that term, and they can create for that vocabulary page or so forth. But yes, I love icons.
I have to tell you a funny story though too. I remember using icons once. I have searched for some pretty random stuff and I always get results. The only time I've ever not gotten a result was when I searched for Shakespeare, right? Nothing came up and I was shocked that nothing came up. Well, then I was doing a webinar and we were talking about some accessibility features and we talked about that audio record button that Catherine just mentioned. And so I was like, and watch this, nothing comes up with Shakespeare. Shakespeare. And I hit search and a whole bunch of stuff comes up and I'm like, oh. And then I realized it's because I spelled Shakespeare incorrectly, right? So if you have students who have difficulty spelling, or if you're a teacher like me who can't spell, then you can use that audio button as well. And you can find lots of icons because there's icons in there for everything. All right. And then I'm going to take this one real quick. Shapes, we've got shapes. So you want to add shapes to your page? Great. You probably have kids who can turn that into a house or a car or a Mickey Mouse. Which is fantastic. But you can also type in some of the shapes. So now you can use them for things like graphic organizers, mind maps, timelines. You can label different parts of a diagram. So much that you can do with shapes. But there's something even better under media, and I'm going to leave this one for Janet. Janet, we've got templates.
Yes, so this is a favorite of mine. It is the ultimate time saver for teachers. How many times have we had to go out and search for in all different kinds of places on the web, just looking for a good graphic organizer or a think bank or something like that? Well, now no more. It's all right here. And just a couple of weeks ago, Book Creator released 800 with a little plus sign out beside it because I'm not exactly sure if they're exactly 800, but lots and lots and lots. And now, as a teacher, get excited because there is going to be something in here that your students are going to be able to use. And I love it because it enables you to give them a little bit of support without putting them in a box. And so you can keep them on task. A lot of ADD children, they need that reminder of what they're doing, right? They get in the middle of a blank page and they're like, wait, what am I supposed to be doing? But anytime we can give them just a little bit of structure to kind of guide them and keep them on course, it's going to help them. And so this is an accessibility feature that sometimes we forget about being an accessibility feature. But to help, since there's 800, over on that left-hand side, you're going to see where our team has taken those and kind of organized them into different categories. Now, because one might fall into more than one category, it could be found in different places. So they have put them in underneath those categories where they feel like you can find them the best. But there also is a search bar up there at the top. So, for example, if there's something that you're looking for example, fluency, you could type that in. It's going to put all the ones that are related to fluency right up to the top. So that's going to help you find something. And if you like one, but you don't love the wording on it, no problem. Just pop it on the page. You're going to be able to go in and edit those prompts as you will. You can edit it as much as you want. So while it might be intended for reading, but you teach math, you can certainly change all the wording on there. So those prompts will fit just the task that you want your students to do.
And
So
James,
templates, I'm super excited.
I love that you mentioned math. And so I just, the other day I was playing around with this. I just typed in math, right? Like I was like, I wonder what's going to pop up. And I absolutely love this one right here. Just a way for kids to record themselves on video practicing math facts. So again, they can see themselves, they can hear themselves. It's a really great feature. And I had to laugh too the other day. I was playing around with this and my daughter happened to be walking by and she goes, "Ooh, what's that one?" Right. And I clicked on it. She goes, "I want that. Like, I need that." Right. And so she's doing this. They have to read 40 books as a challenge, right, throughout the year. And she just instantly saw that and was like, "I'm going to make a book filled with 40 book reviews, right, of all of the books that I read." So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even have to say anything, right? She just literally just walked by and was like, "I need that. Like right now, give me that." So super, super powerful. All right, the last section over here that we're going to talk about is apps. All right, and so this button used to say more. All right, and I know we are quickly running out of time. So if you do have to leave, no worries. This recording will be there, but we're probably going to finish off here in a couple minutes anyway. But under the apps button, you will see 8 of our additional apps that you can add into your book creator experience. Some of these apps are free. Some of them cost a little bit of, or are part of our premium account. Same thing with the templates. Some of them are free. Some of them come with the premium account. But anytime I see these apps, if I want to use it, right, I'm going to click on it the very first time, and you're going to see that a settings box pops up like this. And that settings box will allow you to decide if you want it for every class, specific classes, or what. And I always say, just read the privacy details real quick. We gave a little cheat sheet, so it's even easier. Make sure that it's available for your students. And if it is, you turn it on and everything's ready to go, and then it will be here. And so if I wanted to add, a fun Giphy to make my page look a little animated, I could do that. If I wanted to add a 3D model of a beating heart in my science class, I could do that. We know that loads of you love Canva. That's a great integration, so you can bring in your Canva designs. So there's so many options there within the app section. You can also find the app section in your teacher dashboard where you can turn all the apps on there if you want. All right, so just some great, great ideas there. And I know that Catherine earlier mentioned our feedback button. So Catherine, you want to hit that one real quick?
Sure, yes. So this is where you can leave comments and feedback. The best part is you can leave comments and feedback in different ways. So you can leave a video, an audio clip, an emoji. Um, if you have enabled them, you can have you can leave a GIF, an animated emoji, feedback stickers, just different options of ways that you want to leave feedback for students to really meet the needs of all the learners in your classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did see a question pop up right there on our YouTube channel. Is it free for ambassadors? So our ambassadors do have the option to get the upgraded version for free. So if you are an ambassador and you have not gotten that yet, definitely reach out so that we can have that taken care of for you. All right. And then last but not least, that was kind of all of the bells and whistles inside of Book Creator. But my personal favorite button at the very end is once the work is finished and your kids are done, then you can click the share button and you can actually publish your book online. And once that book is published, you can share that link with whoever you want, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, Facebook, Twitter, school website, whatever, right? As long as it fits within your privacy policies. And then when you publish books and people start reading them, you actually get analytics and you're able to see how many times your book has been read, what countries your book has been read in, which is absolutely fantastic. All right. And I'm telling you, super engaging for your kids to see that their books have been read across the world, right? You will literally see your kids' faces explode, kind of like those kids at the very beginning of our presentation today. All right. So, Catherine, we've got lots of resources for people.
Yes, yeah. So I know did we share this book already in the beginning? Do you want to?
I'm going to share I'm going to publish it right now and I'll get that link.
Perfect. So on page, I think it was 14, we have a few resources for you. One of them is going to be some getting started templates. So when you're rolling this out in your classroom, there are some to teach your first lessons with book creators. So check those out. They're all free to use with your students K-12. We have a PD guide. So if you're bringing this back to your school, and you need to show other teachers, it's a great way to roll this out with them and to teach them. It's also a great refresher just to review what we went over today. And then we have a back to school hub. So this back to school hub, definitely check out. We have even more templates. One great way to roll out Book Creator in the beginning of the school year is a vocabulary notebook. And we have one for newcomers, one for elementary, and one for secondary. Those are all free as well. So just some great resources for you to kick off the school year using Book Creator. So check those out. And it's page 17, sorry, not 14.
And my daughter, that was another one. When she saw the vocabulary notebook, she was like, I need that one too. So she started taking care of that for her science class. So,
Oh,
all right. All right. Now, are there any questions? If there are, please put those into the chat window. And I think we answered everything so far. Lots of hearts on YouTube, lots of thank yous. But other than that, I mean, we are finished talking about Book Creator today. We hope you are excited just like we are. And again, if you do have questions, please put them in the chat window. We will be happy to answer those questions. If you have not used Book Creator very much in the past, then we definitely want you to get in there, play around with it. Please get your kids in there. Please get in there, have fun with it. You're going to see some great stuff. I do see one person says they have a question. So if you can put that into the chat window, that would be great. We will be happy to answer that question. We do not have the ability to turn anybody else on audio. So if you can put that into the chat window, fantastic. But if you have no questions, then have a great day. Be safe out there and happy bookmaking, everybody. All right, I'm looking to see the questions. All right. No, it looks good. My wife just stopped by. Sorry. She got braces today. So yeah, so she showed me.
What color did she get?
They are nearly invisible from what I could tell from that smile. So
Oh, she got like Invisalign ones.
well, they're like
the
real,
color.
they're real braces, but they're very clear.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so the question was how to be an ambassador. So if you go to our website, if you go to bookcreator.com, there is a section for ambassadors under our community button. And we actually have 3 tiers. So it starts at, I forget which one's collaborator, champion, and then ambassador. So we go through the tiers, you become an ambassador, and then you can get it. So that's how you do that. So bookcreator.com, and then go to the community tab and click on the ambassador button, and you'll be able to learn a little bit more about that. All right. Oh, good. And you're already a champion. Excellent. Perfect. So then the next step is just right there. All right, everybody. Thanks. Have a great day, and we'll talk to everybody soon.